hunter must hunt.
Welcome to nearly a year of being better than I was yesterday, less than 3.
pointer must hunt.
Well, that flew by.
Okay, so there are going to be some coughs. You're just going to have to deal with that. I promise I do not have COVID. I promise I do not have COVID. Okay? I went for a little jog and pushed myself a little harder than I intended. And my respiratory system is recovering. That's all. Going like. Yeah, the music is just up really high because we're still in the intro period. Don't worry. I'm going to turn the music down when I go live. Cards have been behaving normally since I restored from a backup. So hopefully everything is okay now. But don't get like let's just hope it doesn't crash, okay? Let's all just cross our fingers, okay? Let's all just one hand on the keyboard, one hand on our penises, and let's just hope that it all works out, okay? Let's all just we're gonna make it, okay? We're gonna make it. And Pooh the God, thanks for being here, my man. I need to get all those streams that I haven't uploaded yet up onto YouTube. Hey, Husky, good to see you. Did you ever figure out the audio sync issue with YouTube Live? Nope. No fucking idea, my dude. The video, it's an issue with YouTube. Because the audio is synced up perfectly in the recordings that I play. So, it's, the audio is synced with the recordings that I play. In the recordings. But when I try to restream the recordings, the audio's out of sync for no reason at all. Bizarre. Let me do some pull-ups, and then we'll be going live here. Alrighty. All right. How we looking? I think everything looks okay here. I got my water. Maticus Maximus with the 11 months. My goodness. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Zero, Kieran with the 5 months.
17 months. Learned so much from you all. Thank you as always.
God, 17 months? Has it been that long? Holy cow. Dark Eldar, thank you so much. And Zero, Kieran, thanks for the 5. Welcome back to the All Has Red team, one and all. Did you get a haircut? I did. You all barely... I actually got it before the last stream that I did. But you all barely saw it. Because the stream crashed. Streamlabs kept crashing. And then I was forced to cancel the stream and plunged into a debacle of troubleshooting my graphics cards. Which would not, for some reason, accept any graphical load whatsoever. You sound so out of breath. Did you run a marathon? I did a bunch of pull-ups like 5 seconds ago. I did a bunch of pull-ups and I went for a pretty grueling run earlier. Pushing myself pretty hard physically lately. My focus is on physical fitness recently, so I'm pushing myself pretty hard. We're starting Stream Raiders. Getting swole. Well, I was swole. I just, over the weekend, I kind of came to the conclusion that I've started losing it a little bit. So I'm like, I just gotta... COVID has, taken a toll on all of our bodies. But I've just decided we're just gonna put our fucking... We're just going nuts to butts, okay? Nuts to butts. And getting back in the groove of things. Frenzy, thanks for the follow. Cthulhu Fountain to you, my friend. Did you walk up some steps? I did walk up a whole bunch of steps today. Before and after my run. It took some work to free. Yeah, exactly. I got out of the thing is I was in such a I had like a relentless habit before COVID happened. Before COVID happened, I had a relentless habit of exercise. And it was just, yeah, I was used to it. And then COVID happened and the gym shut down. And I was kind of just forced to stop working out. Not forced to. I guess I could have still gone for runs, but going for runs fucking sucks. I want to lift some fucking weights. And I don't have free weights. So I kind of just stopped. And now I'm trying, and I've done it half-heartedly since then, once the gym started opening back up. But I've had a hard time being consistent with it. So really just trying to be consistent. Buy weights. That's pretty hard. I need like a power rack, and that's a lot of weight. I'd love to like own a house someday and have a power rack in the garage or the basement. That would be fucking sick. I would love that. One day. But yes, I did get a haircut. My hair, I actually got quite a few hairs cut. I had actually had it cut before the last stream. Just nobody saw it because the stream crashed. Definitely a strong lift. Yeah, I lift. I'm not like a dedicated bodybuilder or anything, but I lift some heavy ass fucking weight. Okay. I lift some heavy. I pick heavy ass shit up and I put it back down again. And I'm big on free weights, like a power rack and dumbbells, and Olympic weight bars and so on. I'm not so much for the machines or like the Smith machine or anything like that. I'm a strong believer in big compound lifts. Your total for the 3 lifts? Well, I try not to deadlift quite as much recently, because I hurt my back deadlifting one time last year, and ever since then I've been wary of doing the deadlifting. But if I were to max out on all 3 lifts, it would definitely be over 1,000. It'd be well over 1,000. Probably 1,100, 1,200 for the 3 main lifts. Alrighty. The day our new PT test is nuts. 3 lefts, max deadlift with hex bar, machine, medicine ball throw, sprint, drag carry, hand release push-ups. God, what PT test? What is this for? Because, you know, I was in the military and my PT test was nothing like that. It was just push-ups, sit-ups, and a 1.5 mile run. New Army ACFT. Oh, nice. Good to see that they're putting it back. Good to see that they're amping up their physical requirements. I'm a strong believer in physical requirements. Will you last more than 2 minutes this time? I hope so. I mean, my graphics cards have been working fine. I've been putting them through. I had to So last time, let me clue you guys into what happened last time. So last time I went live on the stream, and then I tried to open, and everything worked at first, and then the Streamlabs. I opened up Stream Raiders. And Stream Raiders immediately crashed Streamlabs. I brought it back up, and then Streamlabs crashed again a couple of minutes later. I don't know exactly why this was happening. I was using my graphics cards to try and crack passwords for most of that day. And Hashcat, notably, did crash on me. I suspect that Hashcat crashed without cleaning up after itself. I've never seen Hashcat crash like that, by the way. I've run it for like days at a time, and it's never crashed before like that. But Hashcat threw a weird error and crashed out in the middle. And I think maybe it didn't screen I think maybe it didn't clean up after itself. So maybe all of its RAM was still allocated to Hashcat or something like that. So I could not this is all speculation. I don't actually know. I just know that after that, my graphics card started acting real weird. And I thought it might fix it if I updated the drivers, which I did. But the drivers actually, if anything, hurt it more. Because then the machine wouldn't even boot. Like, my PC would not even boot up. Like, I went to restart after updating the drivers, and it would post. It posted just fine. And then it crashed out. My goodness, Frenzy, this psychopath, this lunatic, This absolute crazed madman. He just followed the stream like 10 seconds ago, and he's already gifting 20 subs. My goodness, frenzy. Solok's dead, Karanik, Verzi, B-Heat, Bytecode, Terror Madre, Standard Error, Feelsbra, Ein Topfee, Ashif 2005, Big Mama Tristana, SMFY Hacks, Slayer X1, Zafida, MacGyver 3, Navelji, 740i, Looping PY, How the Story Ends, and White Cyberduck. Welcome to the All Has Red team, my friends. Thanks for supporting the stream, Frenzy. Thank you so much. You're so kind. That was so kind of you. Can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate that. Anyway, machine wouldn't boot. It got to the Windows symbol, and then it crashed with a blue screen. And that's all it would do. And I had to boot into recovery mode, and then restore it from a backup. I do back up my PC, so I just had to restore it to a backup. And after restoring it to a backup, and leaving the PC off for a while, I came and turned it back on, and ever since then, the graphics card's been working just fine. Everything has been hunky-dory. Notably, Hashcat does not work. It doesn't crash. It just hangs at the startup dialog forever. I think that might be a problem with the new NVIDIA drivers or something. I'm not sure. But my point is I don't really have a need for Hashcat right now on this machine, so I've kind of not cared about that. I put the machine through its paces like through an Overwatch and StarCraft by uncapping the frame rate and putting the graphics to ultra. And I was getting my expected frame rates. Like I was with an uncapped frame rate on Overwatch, I was pulling like 500, 600 frames, which is, cooking. Like that's cooking real strong. Okay. So and StarCraft ran without any issue whatsoever. So the graphics cards are fine, it seems. Yeah, I would have to say it did sound like a RAM issue. I think that when I left the machine off, that allowed the graphics cards to dump their RAM and cool down, and basically reset themselves from what the state that Hashcat left them in. Is there a diagnostic suite? Yeah, I ran it through a number of diagnostics. I did run it through a number of diagnostics. And everything seems to work fine. Everything seems to work as expected. Did we already talk about No, people haven't brought up Elden Ring yet. I have not played Elden Ring.
Al4Z Happy Sushi Heart 1 Security 7 Grind Security 7 Dead High Pro Al4Z Happy.
Security Life, thank you so much for the 8 months. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Great, thanks for the 100 Tiggle biddies. That's so kind of you. We have not talked about Elden Ring. I have not played it, so there's not a whole lot for me to talk about. I have watched some of my preferred streamers play it over the past, since when it came out, I think on Thursday or Friday. I think it came out Thursday. And obviously, all of the feedback I've heard has been nothing but supremely positive. Actually, bafflingly positive. I mean, FromSoft always gets a widely positive reception for its games. But this one especially, everyone just seems to be just absolutely losing their minds over. And I can see why. Honestly, I was skeptical. I was skeptical of the open world because I really didn't want... I want a strong single-player story experience, and I'm really skeptical of open world games. I really don't like open world games. I would watch you stream it. I've thought about that. I mean, I just don't have time right now, I guess. I just don't have time. The problem is, Elden Ring looks like a super, super involving game. Like, if I start... I know that if I booted it up, the same thing that happened with Breath of the Wild is going to happen with Elden Ring. I'm just never going to fucking stop playing it ever. Like, it's all I'm going to want to do for, like, 2 weeks at a time. Like, for, like, 2 weeks, I have that really obsessive personality when I encounter something really cool. And Elden Ring just looks like one of those games that I would get absorbed by for, like, 2 fucking weeks. And I just don't have time for that right now. I just don't have the time. I know you guys would like to watch me stream it. That's very kind of you. I may eventually stream it. We'll see. I'll think about it. Right now, I'm not on an assessment or anything, so maybe I can squeeze out a few bonus streams with it. We'll see. Special thanks to you, my dude. Started an OSCP lab on Saturday. Man, it's a beast so far. Definitely a good spot thanks to your streams. Hey, I'm so glad to hear that, Jif Ram. I hope you do well. I hope you do well. And I wouldn't blame. I would put the thanks firmly on yourself. Okay, you made yourself better. You went to bed every night knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday, and that's all you. Don't put that on me. I don't want your success. League, yeah, we still do need to do League. My brother is better now, and he's doing a lot more content creation now.
Cthulhu hatted Mal. Been a while I joined the stream.
Niche, thanks so much for the... I wanted to do it last week. I was planning to do the League thing last week before I went to the... I spent the weekend in North Carolina at an InfoSec Prep meetup, hanging out with a bunch of other cool cats from the InfoSec Prep Discord, and it was a super good time. I really enjoyed it. I was planning to get the League stream done last week before I left, but then my graphics cards were having an issue, and I didn't want to risk it. So if this stream goes well, we'll get the League stream in either this week or next week, I promise. I'm so sorry you had to go to North Carolina. It was pretty nice, honestly. We were up in the boonies, so it was pretty nice. But we did see some... We did see some questionable things. Yeah, we did see some questionable things on the way up. Frenzy, my goodness! You donate 20 subs and then 600 Tiggle biddies. This man is lost in the abysms of shrieking immemorial lunacy. Insane. Thank you so much, Frenzy. That's so kind of you. Niche with the 6 months. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. It's good to have you. I'm glad you've been here for this journey. Security Live, bringing Bow Nose Tech into the fold. Welcome to the All Has Red team, Bow Nose Tech. Thank you so much, Security Live. We did an escape room. Yeah, the escape room was actually sick. That's some of the best production value I've seen in an escape room, honestly. Like, it was really good production value. The only part I didn't like was that part with the key that you had to drag through the maze or whatever. That part was a pain in the ass. But the rest of it was real fun. Really fun. How do I prevent burnouts? Take breaks. Have hobbies that don't involve hacking. Whether they're video games or exercise or whatever, take breaks. The breaks are and unwinding time where you're not hacking is absolutely key to preventing burnout. Security Live with the 601, not to be outdone by Frenzy. With the 601 Tiggle biddies, my goodness. Maybe conspiracy, maybe Al Hazred watching Black Hat did his... I didn't even make it all the way through. I made it halfway through. And I just, no. Just no. So much physical exercise. Yeah, I'm trying to just ramp up my physical exercise quite a bit recently. That's just a personal preference. I don't like where my body's at right now. What part of North Carolina? It was the northwestern part of North Carolina. I believe that we were near a town called Boone. We were in an Airbnb near a town called Boone. Honestly, just drinking and cavorting about. It was a really good time. We were going to go skiing, but we had a debacle with the rental car. And, yeah. How old were you when you transitioned from PHP? Well, first of all, I was never a PHP dev. When I was a dev, I was working with cloud technologies like containers and Kubernetes and Docker. And Ansible. So the language I was working in the most was Python and Bash. And mostly just Ansible YAML files. I made that transition in 2018. In 2018, I transitioned to being a penetration tester. And I've been doing that full time for quite a bit now. Ever since. Frenzy with God, my goodness, we are in a war. We are in a full-on war of frenzy aggression. And he has given us 900 Tiggle biddies. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Frenzy. Hippie Ape, thanks for the follow. Cthulhu Fountain to all of you. Do you ever encounter IoT devices such as cameras, microphones, or on your assessments? Absolutely. Almost every assessment, honestly. Have they been a useful attack vector? Yes. I've compromised an organization's cameras before, and you're not going to believe me when I say this. I promise you it is true, though. We saw a sticky note on the cameras. The camera was unsecured. And on the camera, we could see a sticky note attached to a person's monitor. We couldn't read what was on the sticky note because the camera was like 420p. You know how those fucking security cameras are. Like, y'all got any more of them pixels? Yeah, exactly. But we were able to figure out what part of the building that it was in and hunt down the room and go in there while they were at lunch. And we read a password off of that. Sticky note, and it turned out to be an administrator password. That's a true story. That's 100% a true story. I was pen testing a state government on site. Zero Kieran bringing Frenzy into the cult. Frenzy, always more content with bringing others into the cult and with providing us with a steady stream of tiggle bitties, but he has now been indoctrinated as well. Welcome, Frenzy. Or he, or she, or she. We don't want to assume genders on this stream. Why is it so hard to get an interview for a pen test or a red team internship? My guess is because, do you have any on-the-job experience? They're really big on hands-on experience in this field. So if you can't get a pen tester or a red team internship, get anything that's adjacent to it. Blue team, analyst, anything that's adjacent to there, and play and try to move over from there would be my guess. I have IT technician and cybersecurity analyst. Okay, so you've got something. Maybe you just need your resume to be reworked. If you send me, we can do another resume review stream soon. Or you can just send me your resume to allhousered@gmail.com and I'll take a look at it. My guess is you could probably do with cleaning up your resume a little bit, presenting yourself a little bit better. All right, let's start a poll. Are we doing Hack the Box? I on the last stream, I was going to do... someone requested a box. Okay, remind me. What box did everyone... Someone requested a box to me last week. And I was going to do it on stream, and then the stream crashed. Which box was it? I'm starting a poll. Hang on a second. Okay. Hack the Box Bucket? Oh, that is right. It was Bucket. You're right. Okay, that was the box I was going to do. We don't have to do that one. Judging from the... that one was specifically requested... And I believe that the person said it had to do with AWS, which makes sense from the name, Bucket. So I'm open to that one. That one, Amazon S3. Based on the name, I would assume it had S3 buckets in it. I forgot it didn't let... Yeah, I did my best, just a guy, okay? Like, Streamlabs just crashed on me. I had no control over it, and I spent the rest of the night troubleshooting it. I'm giving you a choice between platforms first, and then we'll choose a box. If people choose Hack the Box, we'll do Bucket. Or at least I'll put Bucket on the list. This is Newbie Tuesday, so we're going to take on a little bit simpler boxes, okay? And you might be a little concerned that AWS might be a little bit of a complicated subject for you guys. I promise you it's really not that bad. AWS is not that hard to understand at a basic level. Their IAM permissions get a little bit fucking squirrely. But I promise you, AWS, the command line interface of AWS is fairly easy to understand. So, just trying to turn it off and on again soon. I tried that, just a guy. I tried rebooting, and the same problem presented itself. And then I tried updating the drivers, and then it wouldn't boot at all. It was a disaster. I spent the whole rest of the night trying to troubleshoot it. It was a flat-out disaster. I promise you I did everything in my power to get the stream working last time. I really hate missing streams. But really, the machine just would not boot for a while. I had to restore it to a backup and then let the whole thing cool down for a while. And the whole thing cooled down for a while. And it was a disaster. All right, Hack the Box has been selected. So I'll put Bucket on the list. I don't want to commit to Bucket if other people have other ones that they want to see. Let me go ahead and sign into Hack the Box. I am logging in. Let's open up Classic Hack the Box. Okay. right, let's pop over to here. Okay, we can look at retired machines, and the one that was selected was one was requested was Bucket. We see this one is rated medium, so perhaps not Newbie Tuesday material, but I'll let you guys decide that, okay? And regardless if it is medium, we will I'll break it down as much as possible as always. What other machines would be good? Let's try and err on the easy side. Validation seems good. These are retired boxes, right? I'm only looking at retired boxes. I'm only allowed to do retired boxes on Hack the Box, or on stream. We'll do Legacy for more of a classic OSCP type feel. I would assume that that's going to be more of an OSCP style. I guess we could put October in there. Sure. October. And let's scroll down to get a nice... Ooh, I saw... Try to pick ones I haven't done yet, though obviously I wouldn't remember most of these. There's Jerry. The ones that are more recent tend to be more interesting, but they also tend to be harder. I feel like Hack the Box on average gets harder as time goes on. I'm sure I'm not the only one with that thought. It's not necessarily a hard thing, but it makes it harder for beginners. There's also Knife. Apparently I did this one, but... It's Linux. Apparently I did this one, but I don't remember it. It's like a Linux, and then... I'll just throw it in there, fuck it. Knife. Alright, get your votes in. Can you type dinosaur and pick the first result? Like, is there one called dinosaur? There isn't one called dinosaur. Beep is an interesting one. I think we've done that one. I think I at least have. Beep. Oh, here it is. Oh, I haven't done that one. I was just trying to pick a wide variety there.
A hunter must hunt.
Miney coming back in for the 6 months. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Diversify your bonds with the 14. My goodness. And Zero Kieran bringing Mr. Robot into the passionate club of cephalopod enthusiasts. Thank you so much, my friends. Thanks for supporting the stream. Kappa, Christopher, and Frank Bidtime, thanks for the follows. It's a good way to find new boxes. I'm just picking a wide... Can you please explain the basics of a simple host server VM as compared to a VPN server is converted? I'm sure you can find a lot of tutorials for that online. Honestly, it's just about setting up... It's just about... It's probably tutorials online that can explain it better than I can. The majority of use that you'd have for like a VPN, you could also have just software and set up VPN software on your machine. The most of use that you're going to have for that is like VPNing into your home machine from work or something. If you're one of like the 6 people who doesn't work remotely now, from work, which some people do. That is a valid use case for it. But you're going to find tutorials online that can explain it a lot better than I can. It looks like Bucket was selected. So let's do that. Let's smash it in. Frank Bidtime, good to see you. All right, let's start Bucket. Where's Bucket? Let's get it going. Actually, I'll bring this over here. Bring this over here, and we will... Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Come in here. Okay. Can I start up a box? They've changed this layout again. it's in here. Never mind. It's in here. Here we go. Now we're talking. Okay, let's deploy that. All right, we're just starting things up. My VM is started up here. I was doing some dev on this earlier. It might be in a state that I don't like. Apparently I was looking up Zap. Okay, here we are. Hack the box, Mcdir bucket, CD bucket. So we're just setting up my workspace the way that I like it. No hacking happening just yet. And let's go ahead and connect to the VPN. Sudo OpenVPN. I hope I have the correct VPN file loaded. All right. So we'll wait for Bucket to deploy. How can I show SQL map payloads? What do you mean SQL map payloads? You mean like tamper scripts? Like, what do you mean by showing SQL map payloads? SQL map is basically a completely automated platform. Or a completely automated tool. You don't typically have to worry about that kind of stuff with SQL map. Except if they're doing some kind of, there's like a WAF or something like that, doing some kind of, if you have to like mangle your payloads or whatever to get past the WAF, then you use tamper scripts. How do you attackers do LLM and R poisoning if you have to be physically on location to do the attack? No, you don't. You do not have to be physically on location to do LLM and R poisoning. That is not a correct statement. There are tools on Windows that will do LLM and R poisoning. You can also set up port forwarding to do it from your machine with Responder. But if you needed to do LLM and R poisoning, I would recommend Inve. Inve is an LLM and R poisoning tool similar to NTLM Relay, or similar to Responder that runs on Windows. There's a PowerShell version, and there's a .NET C# version. The final step on Hollow was absolute cancer. Dude, we did it on stream, and it was a fucking nightmare. The Meterpreter port forwarding is apparently dog shit, and I didn't know that going into it. I guarantee you it would have taken an hour less time if I had been working with, like, Cobalt Strike. But Meterpreter kept, like, dropping connections with the port forward, and I don't know why. It was a fucking disaster. Honestly, I should have just set up Chisel to do a port forward as well. But I was really determined to get Meterpreter working properly. It was a disaster. Could you have used Inve on Hollow? It wasn't necessary. So Inve has the problem where it can't bind to 445. You're going to run it. The issue you're going to have doing it from a Windows machine is the SMB process runs on 4445. So what we had to do was redirect connections that are coming into 445 to a different port entirely, and then forward that port. It was kind of a mess of port forwarding that we had to set up. You could use Inve if the SMB process was not started, sure. But the SMB process is pretty much always going to be running on Windows. Okay. So we have Bucket running. Oh, IPSEC has a box up on here. I wonder if he's doing a video right now. All right, let's go ahead and ping this. See if we get. Oops. I do still owe my patrons that video and antivirus evasion. That was another thing I wanted to get out last week and just didn't because my graphics cards were like cost me so much time trying to troubleshoot those. That will be coming this week. I promise you. I swear to God. You can all lynch me if it's not here by Sunday. And by lynch me, I mean get really angry in the chat. I don't mean actually come to my house and lynch me. Do you appear to be on your... You might want to refresh there, Kieran. Everything seems to be okay on my end. I'm not dropping any frames or anything. I used Sliver to port forward, and it was the environment that was borked. Oh, okay. It was a disaster. Something was going wrong, and it was driving us fucking nuts. But we did get it to work, finally. I mean, your Streamlabs OBS? I'm just on live right now. Again, you might want to refresh. I'm starting on Security Plus, CYSA Plus, CEH. 1 year's course. I'm interested in pen tests. I'm not sure where to start after I finish this course. Well, some of those certs are a good place to start. I would say Security Plus is a good generalized cert to start with. But you're going to want to if you're really interested in pen testing and not really anywhere else, you're probably going to want to move into offensive security or eLearn security pretty quickly. Because those are the predominant companies in the offensive cybersecurity education industry right now. I did it completely without Metasploit with just Chisel. I had to reboot the machine, which you're trying to avoid. Yeah, exactly. So I was everyone. I could have rebooted the machine. I think that the walkthrough wanted us to reboot the machine, but I just said no because that's sloppy and ugly, and it's not realistic. On a real assessment, you're not going to be rebooting a machine so that you can do LM&R, so you can do NTLM relay. You're just not going to. You're going to do what I did, which is to find a way to redirect connections that are going into SMB before they reach it. And it just caused a whole bunch of fucking issues. So maybe we should have followed the instructions and we would have gotten it done much quicker. All right, so we do have a connection with Bucket. So let's go ahead and do nmap. TAC SV for enumerate versions. TAC SC for default scripts. TAC V for verbose. TAC OA output in... we'll do ON nmap format, and then it's 10, 10, 10, 2, 12. So nmap is a port scanner. And with these options that we've given it, it's going to not only discover ports that are open on the target, but also tell us what services are listening and enumerate those services a little bit to tell us what we're dealing with. You might want to change. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's on AV EDR evasion because I was working on my video, I never actually finished filming it because my graphics cards threw a shit fit the next fucking day. So yeah. It's HacktheBox bucket. CEH is dog shit. I do not recommend spending your time on CEH. There's just better certs that you could be getting. CEH, I would only get if you're looking for like a government position because for some reason they like CEH a lot. Psycho, welcome back to the chat. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Want to use Zap? Okay, first of all, I never want to use Zap. Like, literally never. But it's a sucker's game to redeem Zap right at the beginning. Because there could just be no web exploitation. And then you just lost all your fucking shit. All right, so we do see that port 22 and port 80 are open. It's telling us that an SSH service is listening on port 22, which is the normal port that SSH would be listening on. And we do see a web server, Apache HTTPD 2.4.41 on port 80. We do also see indications that this is Ubuntu. What's a good certificate for pen tester? OSCP is the industry standard and has been for a long time. You have other certs that are coming into the space, like you got eLearn security certs and PNPT and stuff like that. But OSCP is still the most well-regarded. So your goal should probably be OSCP, unless you have some kind of an axe to grind against offensive security for some reason. So we see this is likely Ubuntu. We can also find out exactly which version of Ubuntu this is if we open up Ubuntu Launchpad. And we could just... So we see it's probably Ubuntu Focal. in Ubuntu Focal. I guess this is Ubuntu's Focal release. We don't know that for sure, but we could guess that the Ubuntu version is relatively recent, based on the Apache version. So let's go ahead and start an all-port scan, and then we'll check out that web server. You should always strive to have some passive recon going on in the background while you're doing active recon. That's just about working efficiently and being and using your time well. All right, so while that's loading, let's go ahead and come over here. http://10.10.10.212. If I think, yeah, 212. Having trouble. Wait, what the fuck just happened? Okay. Little weird glitch with my mouse there. So we're seeing we're having trouble finding that site, but if we look up at the URL bar here, we see that it's trying to redirect us to bucket.htb. And the reason that we're not able to find the site is because our computer doesn't know how to resolve bucket.htb. It doesn't know what IP address bucket.htb sits at. So we just need to go into our hosts file and just tell it what host to resolve. 10.10.10.212 bucket.htb. Alrighty. We can try this again. And now we see that a web page does load. Does that make sense? This is Newbie Tuesday, so I don't want to leave anyone in the lurch. Does it make sense on how we figured out that we needed to put bucket.htb into our host file to get this to load? If it doesn't, feel free to ask. Do you know how to set up and use Recon TAC-NG? Yeah. I've used Recon TAC-NG on assessments before. A lot of the modules are out of date. A lot of them are just not being updated anymore. But it is still a useful tool. It's Metasploit. It's similar to Metasploit in its layout. So it's relatively easy to pick it up and start using it. You just need to download and install modules, and then it's just about using the modules, that's all. And managing the database. That's it. The file is a bit of a mystery. What file? What file do you mean? Just a guy. Yeah, so we can't. It's trying to do DNS resolution, but it sent a DNS request, and the DNS server doesn't know where bucket.htb is. So we are just bypassing the need to do DNS by just putting it in our hosts file. Firefox will check this hosts file first before actually browsing to see if there is, before actually sending a DNS request to see if there's an entry in there. That works on Windows and Linux. Windows and Linux both have a host file, and it serves that function in both of them. What do you think of hacking Russia? Seems like it's allowed, even though it's not. It's not allowed, okay? I do not condone it. I do not condone personal. Listen. I can't police what you do in your spare time. Okay, I'm not going to try and tell you what you do in your spare time. But I've been hearing about like Twitch streamers like actively trying to hack Russia government websites on stream. It's clearly against TOS, and I do not condone that. Okay, I absolutely do not condone any action that's against Twitch TOS. Beyond that, I don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want. It's up to you. Like it's up to you. Yeah. Good way to get a lot of... It depends on what country you're in, too. Depending on what country you're in, it could be illegal to do what you're doing. So you want to keep that in mind. I do not condone any illegal activity, but I'm only going to say that it's wrong to do it on Twitch, and not try to speak for what people are doing in their spare time. All right, so let's click around on this web page a little bit. See what we got. These links don't seem to go anywhere. So we're reading about some bug bounty stuff. You always want to try to read what's on the website. You don't want to skip over it. We're also seeing bucket.htb. Let's start up some notes here so we can take some good notes. My new notes are up on are up on Patreon. My new improved notes, I should say. Bucket. Basically, they're just organized better. And they have more content in them. Bucket.htb. Let's view the page source. Oh my God, they're after us. They found us again, chat. They're really wise to us now. Fucking Mike Parsons. Okay, so this is what automatically we're seeing this stuff. So what is this s3.bucket.htb? What do we think? What is that? What are we dealing with there? A repo? It's AWS. So this is an AWS thing. Okay? S3, I can't remember what S3 stands for. It's an acronym. It's like Secure Safe Storage or something like that. It's basically file servers. It's basically cloud-based file servers. Okay? If someone remembers what what S3 stands for, by all means. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services is a very, very, very common cloud solution that you're going to see a lot in the real world. You will see it. Simple storage, that sounds right. If it's simple storage service, that sounds right. So it's basically you store files up there. It's basically like OneDrive, but in AWS, okay? Here we can see that these images are being pulled from S3. Are being extracted from S3. Like if we click on this, we see that we can't actually resolve it because S3 is a s3.bucket.htb is a new subdomain and we don't know how to resolve it. So we also need to add that to our hosts file. Okay, now let's try and resolve it. And we see the image. And I bet you if we reload this page, we're going to see a bunch of images now. There you go. Okay, does that make sense? Does that make sense? So these are images that are being stored in the cloud. They're being stored in Amazon's and Amazon S3 buckets. Does that make sense? Is everyone following me so far? Does the host file support wildcards? I don't think it does. No. Hey Zanzi man, good to see you. So these images are stored in the cloud. What do we think? I want to take a second. I don't just want to start doing it because my goal with these streams is always to help you think better, think more accurately. Okay? What do we if this website is hosted in an S3 bucket, what might we want to poke at now? What might we want to take a look at? And what vulnerabilities might be present? What do you guys think? What vulnerabilities? It's kind of a vague question. But I'm trying to help you guys think exploitatively. Okay? I don't know anything about AWS. Well, again, you don't have to know anything about AWS. You absolutely don't need to know anything about AWS to think, hey, what might it be possible to do? Directory traverse? Sure. So we could query. What if we queried the S3 bucket directly to see if there were other files? Like we could use GoBuster for that, like any other web server. But what if but Amazon has tools for us to try and access S3 buckets and configure cloud environments from the command line. So if the S3 bucket is poorly configured, we may be able to see other files other than these images that are present. Or if it's really misconfigured, we might be able to even upload files. Does that make sense? Like, I want you to think when you're dealing with a cloud file storage solution, I immediately want your minds to go to permissions. Permissions, permissions, permissions. Amazon's permissions, most of the vulnerability in an AWS environment is gonna originate from poorly secured permissions. I guarantee it. Amazon's permissions are very complicated. Their IAM permissions, they get squirrely and complicated real quick, and a lot of developers don't properly understand what they are doing when they set up an AWS cloud environment. Does that make sense? So we want to immediately test this S3 bucket for permissions. We want to see what permissions are present. We can also run GoBuster, our ye old directory brute force tool, to see if we can get any other directories out of this. Let's turn it down to like 50 threads. I'm going to be querying AWS at the same time. Okay, so do I have AWS CLI? apt search. I think it's AWS CLI. Is it AWS? Wait, what is AWS CLI? Is it? It's AWS CLI is command line interface. Install AWS CLI Kali. It might just be one word, AWS CLI. Linux. I don't want to do that. It's got to be an APT. Is it just AWS CLI? No, I don't have it. All right, it's just a single word. Kali is a... Yeah, let's go ahead and install it. So we're installing Amazon's command line interface. This also exists for PowerShell if you want to administer your Amazon cloud installations from PowerShell. Again, I promise I don't have COVID, okay? I'm just tired. My respiratory system was hit particularly hard today. So we're going to install AWS CLI, and then I'm going to see if I can remember the commands. AWS S3 sounds right. AWS S3. TAC H. That's not good. Okay, AWS is acting up. Did it install correctly? We might have some dependency issues. We'll remove all these useless dependencies. We might be having some huffing PC dust. No, I was I went on a run earlier. It's a really nice day here today, so I went on a run earlier and I pushed myself. We'll say that. I do not have COVID, I promise. I just overtaxed myself a little bit. All right, let's see if we can get it now. Nope. Cannot. Well, we're probably running into some Python dependency issues. Let's see if we can figure this out. Troubleshoot the error. Reinstall upgrade URL lib. We do see that it is a URL lib 3 problem. Is it remove with pip3? Or is it uninstall? I can never remember. Uninstall. Pip3 uninstall URL lib3. It's probably just URL lib3 has been updated and we're just going to reinstall it. That's all. Okay. Install URL lib3. We are running into some Python dependency issues, it looks like. Okay, let's try it now. Still not good. Let's try sudo pip3. There's probably a package you're not supposed to mix. So idiometry, I'm doing my best, okay? Let's see. We're going to figure it out. Don't worry. We're going to figure it out. At the end of the day, I might just have to open I'll just use a Docker container. I'm sure I can get it to work in a Docker container. AWS CLI Docker. Boom. Docker saving our asses again. This sounds good. Docker run tech v. We'll just call it shared. All right, so we're running a Docker container. We're running into some... if you're a newbie and you don't understand what's happening here, don't worry, okay? Don't be alarmed. I'm just getting... We're having some weird dependency Python issues with AWS CLI, so I'm just going to use a Docker container, which is going to basically run AWS CLI in a isolated container so that I don't have to worry about this error. Does that make sense? Is anyone, like, just freaking out about what's happening here? Actually, it's easier if I just do it with my Docker shell here. Amazon, AWS, CLI. I have an alias. I have an alias installed on my machine that basically just runs this command for me. So that I don't have to type all that out. I momentarily forgot I had an alias. So here we are. TAC H. There we go. So now we do have AWS working. Don't worry about, if you don't understand what's happening here, don't worry. It doesn't matter. Just know that we are in an isolated environment here with AWS installed and running properly with the correct Python dependencies. And it just basically bypasses me sitting here and troubleshooting my Python dependencies. Does that make sense? Is anyone concerned? I think we will have to modify our etc hosts. Vim etc hosts. Sudo apt tech y. Apt tech y install. Apt update first. You're kidding me. All right, do I have nano etc hosts? Oh, for fuck's sake. I guess echo 10 10 10 212 bucket.htb s3.bucket.htb etc hosts. Okay, cat etc hosts. There we go. It's not pretty, but it should get the job done, okay? We don't even have ping. Which curl? Holy shit. We don't have anything. Okay, so there's literally just nothing in this Docker container, by the way. There's just nothing in here. So. What's your path look like? Good question. That's a good question to ask. Thank you. The path looks okay. The path looks fine. No Python node. I mean, it has Python. Oh my god, it doesn't. How does it not have Python? AWS is a Python thing, isn't it? Okay, fuck this. Let's just do Docker shell here, Ubuntu. There we go. Now we're in a Ubuntu. apt update. apt tac y install AWS CLI. There it goes. I mean, if there's nothing in the box, there's nothing to hack. Look, I got other things I have to set up here.
Less than 3.
I checked the Docker file. It's based on the Amazon Linux. Oh, it had Yum. Oh, I'm an idiot. Thank you, Idiometry. That's nice of you. I should have checked that. APT is only in like Debian-based. It's a Debian-based package manager. And I just kind of assume that everything runs on Ubuntu these days incorrectly. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll use 12. And we'll go with Eastern 5. We didn't get all this dialogue before. It must have failed on the install. Very strange. I need to rebuild this Kali image, to be honest with you. Okay, so AWS, Tech H. Okay, it does work. So let's do apt tech y install vim. Okay, vim etc hosts. Okay, set up our hosts file. We need to set up this new hosts file because this host file is distinct from the one that is on my host. We're essentially in a little container here. s3.bucket.htb. Okay, now with all that, which ping? Do I have ping? No. Which curl? God damn it. We'll just install curl here. Curl s3.bucket.htb. Okay, it does work. So we get a little bit of JSON back to us. JavaScript object notation. That's what JSON stands for. But I just wanted to make sure we could resolve this host. Does that make sense? We figured it all out. Okay, we figured it all out. You're right. You're right. I should have checked to see if we were running in a CentOS. I guess their Amazon Linux image runs in like Red Hat or CentOS or something like that. And so Yum would be the package manager for Red Hat or CentOS. I just don't see those operating systems as much, so it didn't pop into my head. All right. Is everyone cool on where we're at? Does anybody have any questions? I know that was like confusing. We were just having problems installing, so when I'm having weird dependency issues, my thought is immediately I just want to fire it up in a Docker container. Because Docker just removes me having to worry about dependencies. I do highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with Docker. It can really help out your workflow, because instead of fucking around with dependencies for half an hour, I now am just up and running in a little containerized environment that has everything running already the way I want to, and it's fine. What is AWS used for? So AWS is Amazon Web Services. It's one of the most popular cloud services out there right now, maybe the most popular. And AWS CLI, which is what we installed here. This AWS command that we just ran earlier is intended to interact with Amazon's cloud environment from the command line. Does that make sense? This is a little bit esoteric. You won't see something like this on OSCP, but you will see it in the real world. In the real world, AWS is all over the fucking place. Okay. Yeah, like there's like a dozen different popular cloud services these days. But Amazon AWS is Amazon's version of that. Does that make sense? And we're going to be interacting with it. So if I can remember, I think it's AWS help. I think it's AWS S3. We're going to need this endpoint URL. We are going to need this endpoint URL string. And I think there's a number of commands you can run. And I think we specifically want the S3 one. S3, yeah. So we want AWS S3 endpoint. Come on. I can't type. Okay, endpoint URL, http://s3.bucket.htb. Can I do that? Too few arguments. So it wants command options, command, and then subcommand. So it wants the endpoint URL first, I think. Again, it takes a little getting used to this command line. HTTP s3.bucket.htb. We're figuring it out on the fly, okay? And then it wants a sub command. Can I do tag H and find out what sub commands there are? It wants a sub command. So what sub commands are there? AWS S3 sub commands. Let's see what we get here. Copy, move, arm. Oh, okay. Is there like an LS? Okay, there's an LS. Let's try just running LS. S3 LS. That's good. Unable to locate credentials. So Amazon is very, again, okay. I want to drill this into your brains. When you think of Amazon, AWS, I want you to think of permissions, permissions, permissions. Everything in Amazon is they want you to have your credentials in a nice little credential file, and your Amazon keys stored in environment variables. That may come up later, by the way. Amazon keys are typically stored in environment variables. So that may come up once we actually get a shell on the box. It may be the case that we have to seek out Amazon keys in the environment variables, because that usually is the case. So Amazon really wants all these credentials handled on the background. They don't want you typing in like a password on the command line. They hate that. They don't want that. So we're going to have to run AWS configure. We don't have anything, so we're just going to... I'm just going to put nothing. And see if it... Unable to locate credentials. Okay. Maybe it wants me to put something. Access key ID. Cthulhu. Secret access key. Fatagan. Region name, I guess, would be like, would be US, I guess. And the output format, I'm just going to put nothing. Maybe it'll default. There we go. Okay, that worked. Pardon me. Again, promise I don't have COVID. That was easy. Yeah, we're just figuring it out as we go. It's been a little while since I've used this command line straightforward. I've used this command line straight up. But it looks like we do have an ad server. We do have an ad server here. So we do want to see what's on that ad server. Can we do ls ad server? There we go. So we can see that index.html, that does appear to be, that's probably this. That's probably this main page. We can find out if we just specify index.html. And it is. So it's very likely that this index.html is the one that's on the web page, and that this web page is being hosted in Amazon S3. Does that make... Is everyone following my chain of logic so far? You can also pass no sign request. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Like over here. Endpoint URL, no sign request. What does that do for me? I guess that just prevents me from having to do the credentials thing. That's probably it. Thank you, no nothing. I'm just kind of feeling my way around through this, you know. We also see an images directory here. We see an images directory, so let's do images. How do I view what's inside of the images directory? Is there a difference between S3 ad server, S3 LS ad server? So this argument is like what endpoint specifically we're querying, which I think we need because we have routing issues at the moment. Like we're operating through a VPN and with using the host file. No sign request is going to prevent us from needing credentials to sign our request. S3 is the command. LS is the subcommand, and this is what we're doing it on. Maybe I need to do it with a slash after it. There we go. So it needs sometimes, yeah, you do need this. You need this slash after it. And you can see these are the images on the page here. Malware.png, bug.jpg, cloud.png. Does everybody see that? Didn't Stephen King write The Cloud? I'm not sure, honestly. I haven't followed. Stephen King used to be my favorite author, but I haven't kept up with what he's been doing for quite a while, honestly. So, is there a tac recurse as well? Is it ls tac recurse? Again, we're just learning together here, okay? Unknown option. It seems like maybe it needs to be... Stephen King releases like 4 books a month. Like, again, he used to be my favorite author, but he's the king of having like an insanely interesting concept and like a bafflingly awesome concept, and then just fumbling at the finish line every single time. You'd think after this many books, he'd just kind of get one ending right accidentally. But instead, what we get in Stephen King's It is the scary clown becomes a big fucking spider for some reason. We get in Cell, everybody becomes hypnotic birds. How did the Mist story? I read the Mist. It's a short story, not a book. I read it, and it wasn't all that. I don't remember being all that enthused by it. I don't remember how it ends. What about The Stand? We have God literally coming down with his hand to detonate a nuclear warhead in Las Vegas in The Stand. Also dog shit. Like, he just does not know how to close out any of these stories set in a satisfactory way. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's just bad. Okay? The Stand used to be my favorite book. I used to fucking love The Stand, but now I look back on it and I'm like, God, that first third fucking cooks. The first third, or even 2/3, just really fucking cooks. But then when they start walking across the desert because God told them to, and going to Las Vegas to face down the fucking demon or whatever, lame. Okay? Lame. It didn't like it. Does everybody understand what's going on with S3 here? So, here we see we have some potentially misconfigured permissions. Okay? We have some potentially misconfigured permissions. And this is very, very common in Amazon S3, okay? This is very common to see misconfigured permissions in S3 buckets and in Amazon instances in general. Does that make sense? So we're at this point, we're now wondering, how deep does the bad permissions go? Can we push files to the server? If you have access to a file share like this that is on a web server, what are you immediately thinking? What avenue of exploitation is most interesting to you right off the bat? What do you guys think? Hit me with it. You don't need to know anything about S3 or Amazon AWS to do this. Upload. Yeah. Upload a file. Get a shell. Upload. Why don't we try and upload a PHP file and see if we can load it? Okay? Does that make sense? And see if we can access it. So let's go down here. Let's do vim cthulhu.php. I'm assuming it's PHP because the web server is Apache. Most commonly, Apache is going to support PHP, but we'll see. PHP echo. I like to echo something to the screen in PHP first, just so I know that the PHP is executing. System. Okay, closing the PHP tags. $_get or request. Let's do $_request like I usually like to do. CMD. So this is a very, very simple web shell. Okay, very, very, very simple. All it's doing is it's going to echo Cthulhu Fhtagn to the screen. Which, if Cthulhu Fhtagn gets echoed to the screen, I know that PHP is executing. Even if I don't get this system request to execute or something like that. If Cthulhu Fhtagn gets echoed and I can't execute commands, usually that's because the system method is disabled, which is pretty common to see. But there's lots of other commands we could potentially use other than system, so we would try other ones. All right, so we've done this, and I think this one had a copy command, didn't it? Let's look at the documentation. Copy. The destination is indicated as a local directory, S3 prefix, or S3 bucket. The / must always be used. With a / at the end, the destinator will adopt the name of the source file or object. If there's no / at the end, the file or object will be saved under the name provided. Okay. All right, so we can just try to push. Instead of ls, we'll do copy Cthulhu.php, and we'll just try to push it to add server. Invalid argument type. Local path or S3. It said maybe it wants an S. It says it wants an S3 URI. Maybe it wants this. Okay. Okay. We like what we're seeing, chat. We like what we're seeing. It said it uploaded it. Let's see if we can see it. And we do indeed see Cthulhu.php on the web server. How interesting. So let's head on over here. Let's try to browse to Cthulhu.php. Alas and alack. It is not we are not able to load it. I wonder if it's just not being routed properly. Maybe it's s3.bucket.htb. Yeah, there are... Nope. Can we curl it? Cthulhu.php. Not found. So maybe we need to put it in images. Perhaps it needs to be put in images. Is this the S3 subdomain? Yeah, we're pushing it to, we're interacting with an S3 bucket. Perhaps we need to push it to images. Okay. And once that / at the end. It did not work. Add server / images. Oh, did I not copy it? You pushed it as images. Oh, my mistake. Yeah, I can see it right there now. Yeah, whoopsies. Yeah, that / thing is getting me. Let's push it as the with the /. Yeah, there we go. Now we're seeing that the images... Okay, now we're seeing it should be in the images. We're learning together, chat. Okay, Cthulhu.php in the images. Let's not do s3.bucket. Let's do bucket.htb /images /Cthulhu.php. We're still getting not found. Huh. I thought this would work. It was looking good. Oh, here's the issue. It's being removed. There's the issue. It's being removed. So what we need to is we just need to be quick. It's just being removed. Okay, so that was not found. So let's push it now. Now let's try and curl it. And there we go. So it is getting pushed and we can read it. It's just getting removed quickly. Does that make sense? Does that make sense what's happening here, chat? Because like if we ls it right now. It's still up there. It's getting removed every so often. But we do have code execution, okay? We can tell we have code execution because we're seeing, where'd it go? We uploaded it, we curled it, and I think I up arrowed and it got rid of my output. But we saw just Cthulhu Fhtagn. We didn't see the PHP output. We did not see the PHP that we actually wrote, which means that the PHP is executing. Yeah, here it is. So we're not seeing like the PHP tags or the system command. That's because the PHP is executing. Does that make sense? Milan42 with the 5 months. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Orto Dokes, Poly Temusic, Kami Kazi, Maz Conrad, Ladry Potato, and Isis. Eyes, I guess I'm going to go with. Welcome to the All Has Red team, my friends. Thanks for supporting the stream. It looks like a fit deck has been redeemed. Let's go ahead and do one of those. Let's go ahead and do that fit deck. What are we going to be doing? Jesus. 8-count bodybuilders. We're going hard today, kids. Okay, we're doing 12 8-count bodybuilders. Going fucking hard, okay? Listen, we're going hard today. Jeez, I don't know if my body can handle this right now. That's the hardest one in the fit deck, that's for sure. All right, we're doing it. I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. Full eye I can't do full eye contact with 8-count bodybuilders. All right, here's why they're called 8-count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many was that? 5? 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. Oh, fuck. Alrighty. Sync Manu, thank you for the follow. Alrighty. You think you can go for OSEE? Which one? That's the one you can't do remotely, right? OSEE is like an in-person class. I've never had the opportunity to do it. All right. So, what we're going to have to do here is just be quick. So let's generate a reverse shell. Ten, 10, 14, 30. All right, so we can go to our hack tricks or hack tools. 10, 10, 14, 30. Port 8443. Copy this. All right, we can Let's do tac x post. I'm forgetting how to do curl commands. Just look up the curl man page. I need the data parameter. I think it's tac data, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to look it up in the man pages. It's either tac D or tac data, probably. Oh, was it? Tac data? I think it's tac data. We're going to go with that. Tac data. Paste in our reverse shell. It's going to have to be in double quotes. CMD equals... And we want to URL encode that. Data URL encode. Let's see if it just executes the command. Data URL encode requires parameter. Oh. Instead of the data, it wants it. Tac data, tac URL encode. Let me look at... Let me make sure I'm doing this right. Post. That should work. I think that'll work. What just got fucked up? Data URL encode is unknown. Oh, I put a tilde in there. Why do you keep doing that? I'm hitting end. Why are you putting a... There we go. Okay, so that post command is working. Let's go ahead and... let's start a reverse shell. 443. We're going to push this to the server. Curl it. And it hangs. That's good news. Because we have a shell.
Hackerman.
I'm in. All right. So, does everyone understand that sequence of events? Like, aside from the Amazon S3 stuff, that was pretty straightforward. This is Newbie Tuesday, so I will ask, does anybody have questions? What questions do you guys have? Anything? No? So pretty simple. We just found that we could upload files to a web server. The permissions were insecure. We were able to upload files without credentials. And we simply uploaded a file and executed a reverse shell. How are you so good looking? I don't know. It's a gift, man. It's a gift, my dude. Why did S3 remove the thing? It's not. There must be a script running on the target to remove files after, like, I don't know, a minute or two. Simple file upload? Yeah, it's simple file upload. It's just a simple file upload vulnerability. That is all. Does that make sense? Do you lose access? No. It's executing in memory now. It could remove the file from the disk, but we're in memory. It's not going to kick us out. Where's Python 3? We're going to start, we're going to use Python to get ourselves a proper PTY. Get current working directly, can't access, okay. There's something weird going on. But we can at least do stty raw minus echo. This simply sets our terminal properly. Then we can do stty-a. We have 33 rows and 33 rows and 118 columns in this terminal. So stty rows 33 calls. Is it 118? Yeah, 118. Calls 118. So now we can use Vim and Nano and stuff, and this works pretty much like a regular regular shell at this point. Alrighty. So home not set. Export home equals var www. Okay. So we are seeing we're getting some weird output here, which is awkward, but we are able to look at. So if we have the permissions of the web server, okay? If we have the permissions of the web server, what's the first thing we do? What's the first thing we do once we have our shell on the machine, fellas? What are we doing? We're going through the web directory to look for credentials. Okay? We want credentials. We want any kind of sensitive information that we can use to further compromise this machine. Does that make sense? Anything like that. So at this point, were we in HTML before? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the index.html. I do not see images, but that's because they're on the S3 bucket. There is this bucket app thing, but I don't think I can get in there. Yeah, so this machine, this is owned by root. And interestingly, we don't have any permissions to access this. So bucket app does not have any, we don't have any permissions for that. So let's see what other users there are. We do see a Roy user. User.text, but Roy is the only one that can use this. But we can read this project directory. Okay, this looks like it looks like there may be one or two fine additions to our collection in here. Less db.php. Oh, my terminal's all fucked up now. Terminals xterm 256 color. Okay, I just hit reset because it fucked up my terminal. Let's just cat db.php. So it's using DynamoDB apparently. We're seeing US East latest. Okay, let's less composer.json. I keep doing this. Cat composer.json. Okay. Require AWS. Okay, so that's just nothing. So this must be some DynamoDB shit. Cat vendor. Oh, CD vendor. Come on, can't you just have a file that's called credentials or something? So let me find out what DynamoDB is really quickly. It's not something I've run into before. DynamoDB. Amazon DynamoDB. Is this their SQL? Fully managed proprietary NoSQL database service that supports key value and document. So it's just a database. Okay, so we're gonna have to. Access this database, I would assume. Is there AWS CLI on here? It is. So, can we access it? DynamoDB with AWS CLI. Using AWS CLI. So do you see my thought process here? I don't know what DynamoDB is, so I Google it and find out. And then I'm like, hey, can I interact with DynamoDB at all? Does that make sense? Is everyone following my thought process here? If you're confused, please do let me know, okay? The db.php loaded the autoload.php. Maybe creds are there. Good question. Good point. Where was it being loaded from? It does load vendor autoload.php. So it's in vendor. Cat autoload.php. Get loader. No, it's just doing some. It's just some database shit. Again, I suspect we're gonna have to access the database. I think it's just without creds. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Okay. Using AWS CLI, AWS DynamoDB. Okay, let's do the same thing we did before. AWS endpoint URL. Is it localhost? On which port? Which port does DynamoDB run on? I'm assuming it's not 80. Port. Default port is 8000. Let's try 8000. Attack no sign request, so hopefully it won't ask us for credentials. Oh no, I think it wants the options before the command. No sign request. DynamoDB. Localhost port 8000. And then what commands can we give it? Localhost 8000. List tables. Endpoint URL expected one argument. Oh. I fucked up my command big time here. I had it going right the first time. Endpoint URL. Localhost 8000. And I think just list tables. There we go. Did that work? It looked like it worked. Error. Fuck. Invalid command. Valid choices are... What does it look like in the AWS DynamoDB list tables? I'm just going to copy this. Just copy this out. Let's just see if this command works out of the box. You must specify... Fucking Christ. All right, AWS configure. Oh, we can do no signed request, can't we? You must...
Hey,
AWS...
listen.
DynamoDB port 45... Why is it port 4566? This says 8000. Where are you getting... Okay, we'll check it here in a second. Cthulhu. Fatagan. Region name is KEKW. Okay. Permission denied. I can't write to that. Fuck. Export. Export home equals dev shm. Let's try that. Okay, let's try it again. AWS configure. Fatagan region name will be KEKW. There we go, that worked. All right. All right, let's find out what port it's on. Netstat, tech, ANP, TCP. Grep, listen. Oh, port 8000 right here. Well, 4566 is still open. So which one? Why do you think 4566? Because you... just run it on your local Kali machine? I don't think I can. It's only listening on local host. It's only listening on local host, so no. 4566 was in db.php, was it? Did I just miss that? I was just looking for credentials. You're right. It does say 4566. Good call, chat. It does say 4566. It's not HTTP though, is it? It's not HTTP. What this was this is what I copied out of here. So it is HTTP. Okay. All right. Let's take the no sign request away. 4566. There we go. Progress. We have progress, okay? And region 8 KEKW. You know what? You know what's KEKW, chat? You know what's KEKW, Matthias? KEKW is being able to read the tables when you say I shouldn't be able to read the tables. Don't you feel stupid? Idiot. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm surprised it worked too, okay? I'm surprised it worked too. Usually, like, AWS has different regions. Usually, you will have to have an accurate region. It's just that this AWS is not actually running in the cloud, I don't think. Okay, so here we go. We are... Okay, so we can view tables. How do we list the contents of a table? Can I just dump a table somehow? KEKW, a way of expressing your virginity. Fair enough. List tables. How do I... Command reference is good. We have list tables. What about describe table? Describe table users, I guess. It did not look like I hoped. Oh, table name. Describe users. Describe table. Table name users. Okay. Progress. Did we get metadata, or do I actually get the contents of the table? Username, password. Okay, we have... So in the first column, we have a username. We have usernames and passwords. I think there was a command for enumerating table name. We already have table name users. I just want the contents. Query? Oh, God. Table name, select. All attributes. Okay, we'll do that. We're just flying by the seat of my pants. I got no fucking idea what to do here. Query. Tac select. Select. Is it all attributes, it said? All underscore attributes. All attributes. Error when calling the query. Either the key conditions or key condition of parameter must be specified. I don't know what those are. key conditions. A legacy parameter. Use key condition per expression instead. This command is going to end up being like 5 pages long. Select was optional. We're trying to like dump the contents of a table. DynamoDB scan? Was scan an option? Scan. Returns one or more items and attributes by accessing it. Well, this looks like what I want. Can I just do... I guess I'm trying to do a fine-grained... There we go. Okay, cool. Looky.
A fine addition to my collection.
So as expected, we have some fine additions to our collection. Andragandhi and Digital Pit Stain, thanks for the follows. Let's do Stream Raiders. We're really late on Stream Raiders. My apologies. I just completely brain dumped Stream Raiders today. Easier than Elden Ring. I haven't seen reports on like how hard it is. I've seen some of the bosses. I've seen some of the streamers that I like fight against some of the bosses, and the bosses seem like ball busters, dude. I know there was concern that it was going to be too easy. Elden Ring, that is. Because apparently there's like magic or something. I didn't see anyone actually using it. I don't actually know. But apparently there's like magic or something. And people were concerned it was going to be easy, which seemed kind of silly to me because FromSoft games are never easy. Yeah, well, we just got our cheeks clapped, by the way. We're just like absolutely bent over by that stuff, but that's okay. So you watched Amaranth. Did she play Elden Ring? I have no idea if she played Elden Ring. All right, get your units in. I don't want to get clapped a second time. Some of the bosses are pretty easy. It gets hard. Oh, I'm sure. That's the way it always is. How big is the open world? Are we talking like, how big are we talking? I'm curious. This is like their first this is like FromSoft's first foray into like having an open world. Massive, huge. Okay, wow, okay. All right. Shockingly huge. Okay, well, okay. I honestly I wasn't expecting, but all right, we'll just copy out this whole thing. And we'll put this into our notes. So here we have a poorly configured database, and we are just dumping the usernames and passwords out of it. I had people complain about trying to memorize. Well, did they not give you a map? Because FromSoft has never given me a map, so get fucked. But I would assume with an open world, you would have to have a map, right? There has to be a map. Tell me there's a map. Because, like, there's never a map in any Dark Souls games, but you need a fucking map if it's going to be open. There's a comprehensive map. Okay, so there is a map. So which, cat, Etsy, passwd, grep sh. We can see what users there are. We see there is the Roy user. That makes sense. We saw his home directory. So we'll sue Roy. And we'll try some of these passwords for Roy. There's 3 passwords in here, and we'll just try all 3 of them. No joy? Okay. We'll try welcome123. A very strong password. No joy. And then we'll try this crazy strong password for sysadm. There we go. So we are now Roy. Does everyone see? We are now Roy. Does that make sense to everybody?
Credits will do fine.
Credentials will do fine. We good? We are now Roy. cat user.text. Okay, so we do see the user.txt file. Questions, comments, threats before we move on to Privesk? Any part of that not make sense? I'm flying by the seat of my pants just as much as the rest of you guys. So...
A hunter must hunt.
Happy anniversary, Daddy.
Looks good? Yeah, I would agree. Alright, so is there... We saw that SSH was open. Mukter SSH. CD SSH. Let's make an SSH key. I want to get an SSH shell. SSH keygen. Roy RSA. Enter passphrase, no passphrase. Cat Roy RSA.pub. Take this. Echo. Authorized keys. Cat authorized keys. All right. So we've put our public key into Roy's authorized keys file. And let's see if we can now SSH as him. Roy RSA. Roy at 10.10.10.212. Looks like it's not allowing us to SSH. So Roy must not be allowed to SSH for some reason. Okay, well, it's okay. We didn't need it anyways. There was the project directory, which I guess we've already gone through that. We still can't access this bucket app thing, can we? Oh, we can.
Hey, listen.
What? Somebody else, what's up? I have absolutely no idea what's happening, but I'm loving it anyway. Hey, Hippie Ape, it's good to have you here. It's good to have you here. You put creds in SSH not... Oh, there you go. Yeah, thank you. That was silly of me, wasn't it? Move SSH.SSH. There we go. Thank you for that. Good catch. There we go. Now we're in as Roy. Good catch. Good catch. What groups are we in? We're in the Roy and sysadm group. So what is this sysadm group? Let's try and find files. Tech group. sysadm. Okay, we're going to find all files. I think we can go type file. No, we'll just find everything that belongs to the sysadm group. We're in this weird sysadm group, so I want to... Just nothing? Really, nothing. Huh. Well, I thought we could access... Oh, there's this plus sign. Is that the special permissions or whatever? Linux plus sign in file permission. Let's learn about what weird permissions are happening here. Extended permissions called ACLs. Get F ACL file to see the full permissions. Okay. Get F ACL bucket app. We're learning together, okay? User Roy. So Roy actually can access this. Okay, cool. So CD bucket app. We learned together. Index.php. So something weird is happening here. I love the updated Necronomicon. Perfect time to become a patron once I started my lab. I'm really glad you like it, my dude. I'm still adding stuff to it, obviously. It's an ongoing project. Sarsek with the 7 months. Thank you for that. Sergeant Major Taco with the 3 months. And Pseudo Chef with the 12 months. My goodness. Happy anniversary indeed, Pseudo Chef. All right. So we're now going to try and figure this out. Whatever that this looks like the, let's look at less compose. I'm guessing this has to do with the AWS SDK, composer.lock. Oh, it's gonna be fucking huge, isn't it? Dependencies, so it's just dependencies. I don't care about that. Less index.php. DynamoDB client. So we're still operating in DynamoDB. Iterator. So it's pass through. Can I alter this file? This is going to break it, but I'm just going to put some stuff in here to see if I can alter it. Can't. That'd be too easy. Just exit. No. So what we're seeing here... Bucket app file's name. So it's creating a file. And then it's executing some Java code. Yeah, through pass-through. Pass-through is another one of those PHP commands that can execute. Yeah, this is the StarCraft 2 soundtrack. Give me that bucket app. We're working it out. We're working it out. Speaking of SC2, I'll do SC2 1v1 on stream. I mean, I'm not very good at SC2. I was just at my, I was really into it back in like 2012, 2013. But the highest I ever rose was Diamond League, so I wasn't really all that great. My brother is Masters. If I practice more, I probably could be better. So we're getting some... So where is this hosted is the question I have to ask. Because this is a web server. Netstat, Tech ANP, TCP. So where is this being hosted? There's that port 8000. Okay, so there's only a couple of options. There's this weird one on 3669. There's SSH. This is DynamoDB, we've established. This is DNS. So this is the only port candidate. So let's do ~C to open up the SSH menu. We'll do TAC L for local port forward. 8000. Oh, fuck. I messed it up. I hit enter by accident. TAC L 8000 to localhost 8000. Okay? So everyone channel your thoughts of Riley Reid, okay? Everyone channel your inner Riley Reid, all right? Here we go. What did I've set up some port forwarding, so what have I done here? Okay. So I'm now doing port forwarding, and the reason we've done this is because this port 8000 is listening on localhost. So we cannot reach it. Like if we try to reach it just by browsing. Okay, so we can't reach it from here. However, this machine can reach it. So we can try and curl localhost 8000. And we do see some content. There is something here. There is something here. But what we've done, what have I done with this? Use your Riley Reid power, okay? I've set up SSH to do a local port forward. What have I done here? What port Yeah, I've opened up a port 8000 on my Kali machine, and I can prove that if we go netstat. We go up here. We will see that port 8000 is now listening. See? Port 8000 is listening, or listening here. And we see that SSH, so SSH is now listening on port 8000. And when you get traffic to port 8000, SSH is going to forward it through the SSH session that we're in to port 8000 on this machine. Does that make sense, chat? So if we put localhost 8000, yeah, we see some stuff here. Bucket application not finished yet. We love half-made web pages, don't we, folks? Does that make sense, chat? Does that make sense to everybody? Riley Reid has buckets for days, am I right? Oh, absolutely. Tons of buckets on that woman. So let's take another look at, I bet this must be the web page with the PHP that we were looking at before. So let's take another look at that. Less index.php. So let's make sure this is the same page. It should be. Site under construction or maintenance bucket application not finished yet. Yeah, this is the website. Okay, so what is this PHP at the top of the page? I am noticing this pass-through. This is an insecure function. That's a lot of CSS. Yeah, it is a lot of CSS. I am noticing this pass-through. So if we send a post request to this, it's going to take the action post parameter. And if the action post parameter says get alerts, it's going to access the database for us. Iterator. Let's just try sending it. So let's use burp. Let's fire up Burp Suite. I wonder if you could hit this with an X forwarded header. No, it's only listening on localhost. That's the issue. Do we not use tmux? I don't like to use it for Burp Suite, specifically for Burp Suite. I just open up a new pane. Just a personal preference. I just like it to be out of the way so that I don't hit my Burp Suite pane when I'm cycling through tmux panes. Okay, intercept is on. All right, so Burp Suite is listening. And let's try browsing to it. It doesn't seem to be... Oh, it's not intercepting because I need to set it in Foxy Proxy. There we go. Connection refused. What am I forgetting? I'm probably forgetting something really stupid. Is it just ignoring... Oh, it's the socks proxy again. Like, see, this socks proxy is now permanently set in here for some reason. Thank you. There we go. Now it's working. All right. So if we're sending a GET request. Let's send this to repeater. And we're going to send a POST request. So let's change request method. We're following what this says to do. So it looks like it's going to It's going to open up DynamoDB client, so it's going to access the database. It's doing that scan command, I think we said. So it's looking for ransomware attributes, I would assume. Then it's going to write all of those to a file with a random name. And then it's going to execute this pass-through command with Java. And it looks like it's making... Oh, here's what it's doing. So it's making a PDF file. It's making this stuff, the file it writes, into a PDF and outputting to result.pdf. Does that make sense? See you next time, Matthias. Thanks for being here. We'll be back on Thursday again. Pseudo Chef bringing Sasha Grey. Why? Has Sasha Grey checked out my... Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Hold up. Hang on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait. Hold on. Has Sasha Grey checked out my stream? Like, can you gift subs to just random fucking people? Or do they have to, like, be following or something? That's the real question. Now I'm curious. You can gift subs... Okay, well, Sasha Grey is now a sub. Congratulations, Sasha. Jiffaran with the 69. Nice. Take old biddies. Dark Place 0. Thanks for the follows. Looking forward to Cthulhu Thursday. We need to finish up Anubis, finally. We just need to finish up Anubis. We need to rip that fucking Band-Aid off. Okay, so this pass-through command, it's making whatever it pulls into a database out into a PDF, essentially. So let's try and send a command. So it's a post request, and the data needs to be... what does it need to be? Action equals get alerts. I think it was underscore. Get alerts. Send it. We get a 500 internal server error. So not working too well. I don't think there was an alerts table. Remember, we accessed the table earlier. And I don't think there was an alerts table. Am I wrong? Perhaps that's why it's an internal server error. Oh, God. We'll just do this from the SSH session. AWS configure. Why are you not typing? Hello? Did my box die? What the hell's going on? Hello? Did the box die on me? I think the box may have died. What just happened? I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, I can't type. Did someone restart the box or something? Ah. Check that the VPN is running. Yeah, I guess we can do that. Maybe I lost... Okay. So, naturally, let's just kill this. If no one rebooted the box, we should just be able to SSH back in. Roy RSA. There we go. I don't know what happened there. It looks like we had VPN issues, perhaps. Okay, so AWS configure. Okay. So, yeah, there's no alerts table. So, CD bucket app, less index.php. It wants an alerts table. So essentially, we can use the database, which I'm assuming is running as root. Or we can use, it's Apache technically, to write a file to the server as root. Effectively. So what can we do with that, chat? What do you guys think? So what I first want to look at is PD4ML. Is there some kind of CVE with this? The first thing I want to check for is this PDFML thing. Okay. Well.
Bruh.
So you like to see that when you're Googling a piece of software and then the first thing that comes up is the name of the software followed by the word exploit. Okay, we're seeing write-ups now. PDF, okay, vulnerability? I don't want this. Possible security hole. This is in 2010, so probably not. It's a feature? Yeah, it's a feature. Arbitrary file read? I don't think it's this. So it's running PD4ML. Replace java.exe with a reverse shell. We probably can't write to that location. I wouldn't expect that we can. I mean, we can check. We could just look for log4j. We could just go for log4j. That library is probably not in use, to be honest with you. Oh, this is just a symlink. So it's just a symlink, so I don't expect that we're going to be able to write to this. Yeah, we do not have write access to this binary. We can read it and execute it, but we can't write to it. So no luck there. I like where your head's at, though. Arbitrary file read. Affected are vulnerable to arbitrary file read. The package fails to sanitize the HTML input, allowing attackers to exfiltrate server files by supplying malicious HTML code. PDF document with the contents of etc.passwd. Well, let's see if that works, I guess. But first, we have to figure out how to add a table. So we have to add an alerts table. And we need to add an alerts table, and we need to give something the attribute ransomware. So it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass, I think. We could just pwn kit, yeah, but that's the coward's way out, okay? Where was DynamoDB? Here. How do I create table? Create table. Describe the key schema for the table and indices. So, which attributes do we need? So let's look back at that PDF. This is going to take me a minute to figure out. I've never used DynamoDB. So title. So expression attribute values. Let's do Stream Raiders really quick. All right, get in there. I don't tolerate failure. God, this is gonna be painful, I think. Sarovi with the most kills and the most assists, popping off, my friend. Rumor has it InfoSec Twitter pwned kitted Jonathan Data's mom, which is why he is the way he is. That would make sense, yes. Charles Agra, thanks for the follow. All right. We need to create a table, and we need to tell it attribute name and attribute type. Jeez. Key type hash. God, this is going to be fucking complicated. Ugh. I don't like AWS CLI very much. AWS. Dynamo. DB. List tables. Endpoint URL 3566, I think. Okay, so we have to create table. We're just gonna kind of figure this out as we go. Create table. Table name. Is it table dash name? Table dash name. Table dash name. The table name will be, is it alerts? I think it's alerts. Can I do that? Attribute definitions and key schema. Great. Oh, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. Let me go ahead and copy all of this PHP code out so I can reference it in my notes. This is going to be a fucking nightmare, friends. Just figuring out how to add this table is going to take me probably an hour. That's being generous. So looking at these, okay. Table name, filter expression, title. What is title? Is title an attribute or array? Ugh. Scan rate. Table name is alerts. Filter expression. Is this an easy box? It's rated medium. So we need attribute definitions. Let me just open this up in my notes so we can figure this out. It's doing a substitution of values from the array into the filter expression. I just need to figure out exactly what it's looking for. Table name alerts, and this is going to be attribute definitions. What is attribute? So how do I define the attributes? Attribute name, string, and attribute type is string. So I guess it wants this. Let's put it back in here. Attribute name, I guess, would be title, right? Attribute type, I guess string. Do I have any reason to believe it's not string? And it looks like there's an array. Is S stand for string, I'm assuming? So it's looking for I'm having a hard time reading this and understanding what it's trying to tell me. So it's looking for the title, which I assume is a string. And then I'm assuming it's going to need some other attribute type. Is there a name for this other attribute type? Because there has to be item data. So it's creating an iterator. Okay, so it's okay, it's starting to make sense. It's starting to make sense. So it's creating an iterator of all these key values in this table, where the title matches the word ransomware. Okay, it's making sense now. And then it's going to take all of those items where the title is ransomware and take the data field. So we need to do another attribute field called data. So people can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm just going to assume data is also a string. Okay. And then it wanted the key schema. What the fuck is the key schema? Attributes that make up the primary key for a table or index. The attributes in key schema must also be defined in the attribute definitions array. Composed of attribute name, the name of this key attribute, key type, the role that the key attribute will assume. Well, we probably, I guess, want hash. The name and the key type, we just want a hash, right? Because we don't want a range. Peeps around here will correct you even when you're right. Yeah, it's probably accurate, but I genuinely have no fucking idea what I'm doing here. So I am trying to feel my way through it in the dark using the documentation. The name of a key attribute. Okay. The name of a key attribute. So I guess title? Title is the key. So I guess the name is going to be title. So how does this look? Key schema, attribute name, and key type. So let's do that. Key schema. Attribute name equals title. And then key type. Equals, was it hash? It was either hash or range. Hash. Okay. So we have the key schema and the attribute name and the attribute types. Do we have to specify one for the... Like, I don't understand what key schema is really doing. The primary key, the attributes in key schema must also be defined in the attribute definitions array. Each key schema element in the array is composed of attribute name, the name of this key attribute, and the role that the key attribute will assume. Partition key and sort key. What the fuck, dude? Amazon, what is going on? Partition key and sort key. What is the difference? Great. Key schema? Fuck. Partition key and sort key. Hash attribute. The term hash attribute derives from DynamoDB's usage of an internal hash function to evenly distribute data items across partitions based on their partition. The sort key of an item is also known as its range attribute. The term range attribute derives from the way in sorted order by the sort key values. So which type do we want to use? I feel like I'm just more confused now. Sounds like key schema specifying which fields will be used as the primary key. Yeah, I figured that. I figured that much. The issue is, does there need to be... The thing is, I don't want to create a new table and then have to delete a table and stuff because I did it wrong. So attribute name, key type equals hash. Does this need to be a range? Is my question? I guess I'm just confused on the difference between hash and range. Use hash because titles are likely unique? Sure. Key schema. Okay, Zanzi Man is saying, so support that. Are you just, like, what is this coming from? Attribute name equals title, key type equals hash. That's what I have here. But then you have a second one for the range. Don't forget to put data instead of title in the second attribute. Yeah, sure. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Good catch. Data. So do I have to have a second one that's range? Okay, whatever. I guess. It seems like you have to specify attributes or key schema for every one of these. Attribute name equals data. key type equals range. Title, I think this has to be a comma. I mean, does this work now? I think we have the required options. Let's try and paste this in. I guess we'll just give it a shot and we'll delete it if it's not right. So we paste this in. Okay, key schema. Is it like that? Maybe you didn't want that space. Member was satisfy a num value set. Yeah, great. BNS. The fuck does this mean? Ugh. God. This sucks ass. Instead of string, you need S. Right here? Like it wants S? Okay. I guess that makes sense. Because it did refer to strings as S. This is not Newbie Tuesday material. If I'd have known I was going to be fucking trying to just make a goddamn table in a database, I wouldn't have done this on Newbie Tuesday. I don't do these boxes ahead of time, as you can tell. No provisioned throughput. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. This sucks ass. Okay, what the fuck is provisioned throughput? Provisioned throughput. Splendid. Represents the provisioned throughput settings for a specified. The settings can be modified using the update table. Wait, does it matter? Read capacity units, write capacity units. Fine, fuck it. Who gives a shit? Provisioned throughput. Yeah, we're trying to figure this out. We're gonna get there. Invalid literal for int with base 10. So it wants an integer? What the fuck? So this tells me long. It wants an integer? Okay, they're both going to be 10. I don't know what it means, but they're both going to be 10. Because it seems to want an integer. 10. 10. Did it work? I think it may have worked. We didn't get an error message, did we? Okay, we have progress. I don't know if it's actually going to work, but this is why we all just love the... AWS is complicated. Permissions are complicated. The documentation, as you've seen, is not great. Well, I took this hash and range from our friend in chat, Zanzi Man, so I'm hoping that's correct. I'm hoping the provisioned throughput thing is correct as well. We're just going to see if it works, okay? Now we have to put an item in here. We have to, like... Now we have to actually put an item in the... Well, let's make sure we can list the tables first. List tables. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm actually going to kill myself. Why the fuck isn't it there? Is it getting removed again? Okay. Thank God it's just getting removed. So there's like there must be a script running. It's not AWS. There must be a script running. There must be a script running to remove the table after so long. Like, we've already seen that. So now we just need to add an item. Fuck. So now we need to put an item with the title of ransomware and some data, right? If the table is made correctly, now we just need to put an item on the table. Right item? No, that's a batch. I just want to do one. Put item. Creates a new item. Perfect. Put item, table name, and an item. And well, so what output? Is it just JSON? Yeah, it's just JSON. It just wants JSON data. So we'll do... okay, we're going to need to make another command here. Because, again, it's fucking deleting the goddamn... Okay, AWS... Alright, this is a pain in the ass. Create table. Let's put item. Table name alerts, and then do we need to fucking provision, do the... What was it? The provisioning the provision throughput on the item or some fucking bullshit? Oh my god. Can't you have default settings like everybody else? Like literally everyone. We have table name and we have tac item. So let's try tac item. And we can put this in quotes. It's going to be JSON, so it's going to be in braces. Title. Ransomware. Data. Cthulhu Fatagan. Like that? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Let's just try this and see what we get. So, of course, we gotta make the goddamn table again. And now we put an item in the table. Invalid JSON. Expecting property name to be in double quotes. So just title? Okay. So we'll put title in double quotes. Yes! Hi, honey! I hear you. Hi, sweetie. Come here. No? Come here. Come on. She's dissociating. But here's Long Cat. She's very long. Notice how long she is. Hi, honey. Yeah, I know. I know. Daddy being rude to you. Oh, yeah. Very, very long. There you go, sweetie. Okay. All right. Back to this. All right. So it wants... Okay. Let's try this again. I'm going to have to create the fucking table again. Very frustratingly. invalid type for parameter. Okay, how does it actually want these? How does it actually want these items? Oh, it wants like, okay, now it makes sense. So it wants like a string. So this is the title. So it's going to look something like this. It'll look, and this will be a separate JSON, nested JSON node. We'll put this in braces as well. And it's going to be, does the string need to be in quotes? Yeah. So we need to specify the type that we're inputting, I think. Okay. Let's try this. Create the fucking table again. And let's paste this in. Oh, it's hanging. Did we do it right? Did we do it right? It's hanging. Oh, it's hanging because I didn't put the fucking local URL part. Or endpoint URL. Endpoint URL. Localhost 4566. But it is good news because it looks like it's parsing our command correctly. So the command seems to be correct. Dude, what? It's my fucking... Okay, there we go. Let's create the table. Table already created. Let's paste this in here. Okay. Okay. Can we do scan? AWS Dynamo DB scan table name alerts endpoint URL localhost 4566. Oh my god. Fuck you for deleting the table. Fucking deleting the table. Scan. Okay. Does that look right? That looks right to me. Does that look right, chat? Jifram, thanks for the 5 new cult initiates. Hunter, Scrubterfuge, Kinslayer, Age of Music, and M Deep. Welcome to the All Has Red team, my friends. Thanks for supporting the stream, Jifram. Mac Dom Nail, thank you for the follow. Not Flyer, thanks for the follow. Cthulhu Fountain to the both of you. Maticus Maximus, thanks for the new VR Linux cult initiate. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. Oh, God, this is a pain in the ass. Okay, alrighty. Create the table again. I'm just going to do this all at once, okay? Listen. We're going to run this action, get alerts. Is it going to give me 500 internal server error? It doesn't look like it did. Did we get files? Files were not created, it looks like. Oh, you know what? I'm not port forwarding. That's the reason. I forgot to reset up my port forward. Alright, well, I probably have to create the goddamn table for the millionth fucking time. Table already created. Okay, we get 200 okay now. So we got... I think it worked this time, okay? Because last time we got a 500 internal server error, and I'm assuming that's happening because the database did not have the table. Okay! Progress! Progress has occurred, my friends. Are you seeing this progress? Okay? Cat 28.html. Oh, did it get deleted already? Fuck me. So it got It got deleted already, but we are making progress, okay? We are making progress. It is extremely frustrating how they keep deleting my fucking table. Put item. And then we do scan. Okay. Then we do this. It makes the files. And then I need to... Are you kidding me? It's already fucking gone? What? Okay. It's alright. It's okay, chat. It's okay. I'm not upset. It's okay. I'm fine. Jesus. Okay, so I'm gonna need to SCP, I guess. SCP-I Roy RSA. Roy at 10.10.10.212. var dub. We're in Bucket App Files. God, this be like this. If this box would be so much easier. Star, and we'll just copy them here. I'm just gonna copy all the files. So we have to run the create table. Put item. Send. 200 OK. There we go. We got the files. Okay, we got the files. Progress. Cat 47. This box would be so much easier if it wasn't fucking... Okay, so it is... It's making an HTML document. And it's outputting to this PDF. So let's view the PDF. Let's see what it looks like. We're in HacktheBox. Bucket. And result.pdf. Okay, so we get a PDF. Does everyone see what's happening here? And now, based on this CVE, I think there's a library that this Java file uses. HTML PDF. This is from 2019, so I trust it. And it looks like input with an XHR request, such as request.open get file etc.pastwd will result in a PDF document with the contents of etc.pastwd. Well, let's try that then. So we're trying to put some... We're gonna put some HTML. Okay. I wish we had like a... I wish we had like a POC of this. Is it HTML PDF? Exploit. Okay, this is in 2020, so I trust it somewhat. Okay, this doesn't look like what I'm looking for. HTML, PDF, Java. Exploit. I'd love just a POC. If I can. PD4ML. Exploit. HTML file read exploit. Well, I can see that we're on the right path. We have a tweet, my favorite place to get exploitation advice. Funny part was PD4 supports attachment through PD4ML attachment tag, using which you can attach a file that lists a directory or file content. And he goes, "No, it's a feature." The classic response. Executing code through log4j, also a feature, okay? Not a bug, a feature. Alright, so this looks like what we're looking for. Allows you to embed attachments to a resulting PDF file. Perfect. This looks like what I want. Perfect. We'll take that. Looks like we have a nice little POC here now. So at this point, we want to put item. Instead of, we want this string to be in the data. So in the data, we want this string instead. Instead of Cthulhu Fatagan. Why do I paste this plain text? And, okay. Does there need to be particular... I don't think it needs to be particular spaces. I think this looks okay. It looks like I might have gotten... I might have to escape some quotes. So we'll escape some quotes. And that's the closing quote. Okay. Does everyone understand what we're trying to do here? Does everyone understand, basically? I know this is complicated. I apologize. This is, again, not Newbie Tuesday content. I wish I had not done this on this particular day. Not because I don't like this box. Although having to create a fucking table every time is annoying. I don't care for it because it's not good Newbie Tuesday content. God, why is my mouse freezing up every so often? That's weird. Okay, it looks like it worked. Let's send this request. Oh, come on. Okay, we get a 200 okay. We come back over here and we SCP. Fuck! Hey, this fucking sucks, dude. You get like 3 nanoseconds. Okay, maybe we just run the scan to see what we ended up with here. No, it looks good. That looks right. What the hell just happened? This box was a fat Mulder when I did it? Well, we're trying to figure it out. We're getting there. Oh, you know what? We didn't actually change the POC. I understand. I think it may have errored out, and that's why it's taken so... Oh, nope, we get it. Cat 9214. Well, I forgot to put like Etsy past WD in here. We do see our quotes are being correctly escaped, which is good. But we need to put Etsy past WD in here, I believe. But if we open up the PDF document, we do see that there is an icon here. With a paperclip icon. We do see that. Okay, cool. So it's working. Okay, so instead of whatever that was, we want to put, instead of this right here, we want it to be file Etsy pass WD. I opened up Steam by accident, and now my whole computer is freaking out. Okay. So let's try this now. Put item. Okay. Back over here. You gotta be fucking kidding me. God, this is annoying. We'd already be done with this box. If you didn't get like 3 nanoseconds to copy the damn files. Create table. Oh, I didn't actually send the request. That would be why the files aren't created. There we go. There we go. cat5032.html. We do see our HTML there. And let's view the PDF. And we don't see it. Where do you want to save past WD? Right here, I guess? And there's Etsy past WD. Splendid, chat. Splendid. We are making progress, okay? Does everybody understand what we did there? Does everybody understand what we did there? So now we have an arbitrary file read essentially as root. So we can we can just read root.txt. We have an arbitrary file read as root. So we can, unfortunately, we do have to go through. It would be quicker if we like made a script for this, but I'm too lazy for that. So we're going to keep doing it this fucking shitty way. Root.txt. Okay, we send the request. Okay. Okay, we SCP. We get the results. Result.pdf. We click on the paperclip. We get root.txt. And we have root.txt. So we can read shadow. We can read SSH keys. Let's try and get the SSH keys next. So we do have an arbitrary file read as root. Let's do stream raiders really quickly. And then we'll try and see if there's an SSH key. So we can get a shell as root. I'm sorry about this box. It was a good box. It was informative. We learned along the way. Hey, thanks Zanzi Man for helping with the creating a table debacle. I think you probably saved me a significant amount of time there, so I appreciate that. I'm sorry, this wasn't really a Newbie Tuesday box. I don't do these boxes ahead of time. This box was requested specifically, so I did it. Alright, most assists goes to Sorovi. Jifferam with the bonus rewards, and we'll get in this loyalty chest before we sign off for the day here. Take a poll next time. A poll for the... We did do a poll. We did a poll for People chose Hack the Box, and then people chose Bucket. We did a poll. A poll was done. All right, so let's see if we can get... let's create the table again. Let's put item, and now we want to pull root dot ssh id rsa. Okay. We send the request. Okay. Come back over here. We SCP. We get our documents. We open up result.pdf. And it looks like we did get an IDRSA. Chmod 600 IDRSA. SSH TAC I IDRSA root at 10.10.10.212. And there we go. We are root. All right, any questions, chat? Any questions? I'm sure many of you have many questions on that chat, on that box. It was a little hairy at the end there, but I hope you learned something about AWS. Just a little bit of thing about testing S3 buckets. You do see S3 bucket. S3 buckets are kind of old, but you do see AWS fairly often, and you will still see S3 buckets now and then. So it's definitely something valuable to know. Anyone have any raid suggestions? We need to, other than Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys. So I've been going off on NFTs recently, as some of you may have noticed, and I over the weekend I got reached out to by some startup that wants to do, that's doing like they're doing like streamer trading cards or something. Like you can earn trading cards by watching the stream. Like there's rares, there's commons, there's uncommons, and I was like, this has to be NFTs, right? This has to be an NFT thing. And sure enough, it was an NFT thing. So let me just show you firsthand how I replied to this. And I'm gonna ask that you don't like DM this person, or that you don't message this person or anything. Here, let me just take a snipping of it. I'll just take a snipping. I don't want you to harass this person. But I do want to show you what I said. This was my email back to them. I just took a snipping out of it. We will raid Taggart, by the way. Taggart sounds like a good raid to me. He is, yeah. He just went live. So, yeah. So, we will not be peddling NFTs. We will not be peddling NFTs on this stream. Don't you worry. But I was feeling a little spicy in that moment, so I just decided to demonstrate my I decided to email back commensurate with my opinion on NFTs. Okay? Alright, so there's that. We're going to be raiding Taggart. He's doing Attack on Tuesday, so he is doing some offensive cybersecurity stuff. We got new Patreon content coming out this week. I'll get those old streams up on YouTube as soon as I can. Go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more. Yeah, bring MT Taggart glad tidings of Dread Cthulhu. Go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. I'll see you guys again when the stars are right. Have a good night, day, or whatever time it is wherever you are. Stay safe. Get vaccinated. Love you all.